Hello, I'm ELD, and welcome to Time Vault. This is Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering, and we are witnessing Turtle playing Black-Green Aristocrats versus Ryan on a land destruction brew, looking to take advantage of some of these potentially vulnerable mana bases as he razzes this first land from Turtle. A lot of these lands come into play tapped, so if you're destroying them as they come out, your opponent's really not going to be doing very much. Mistveiled Border Post, getting a land off the table. At this point, if both players have to sacrifice a land, it'll be one-sided. And now Carrion Feeder and Young Wolf. This is going to be essentially a couple of 2/2s for one. With more of an upside. Fallow Worm. Going to return a mountain to hand. And it might have been time to sacrifice that Young Wolf in the end step. I got to check and see if Fallow Worm is a 3/2. I think it might be. Another Young Wolf adds in. Oh, that's not Fallow Worm. It's a different one. Maybe Harvest Worm? Fallow Worm's the uncommon 4/4. Alright, we've got a Tragic Slip killing it. It definitely had less than 13 toughness, whatever it was. Let me know in the comments. And now swinging with this just 1/1 Carrion Feeder. I am surprised. I would think the default play here would be to sacrifice these Young Wolves, turn them into 2/2s, get the extra damage going. Turtle venturing into tournament play. Loves Commander. Also played the Transformers card game. And really taking a big step up here, checking out these Pauper tournaments. Young Wolf is shot down. I think it's actually should be coming back here. Might have incorrect life totals, or perhaps he did sacrifice it and there's a die on there. Yeah, look, I think I can actually see that. We usually have big old dice on the table. Turtle's got some more on-theme colored dice. So let's see if this ends up being 3 or 4 damage here. I mean, the Carrion Feeder can sacrifice everything on board. A chump blocking takes out a land from both players. And now Bloodthrone Vampire. Bloodthrone gives a much-needed sacrifice outlet to these decks. I mean, that's probably the biggest issue with Aristocrats from my playing of it, is it really, really wants to draw Carrion Feeder. If you draw it, the deck is very, very good. And if you don't, it has a tendency to struggle. Faithless Looting. Too good for Modern. Totally at home in Pauper. Discarding 2 cards. And now some type of Yeti. I want to say Chillwind, but I'm pretty sure that's actually from Hearthstone. Let me know what the name of that card is as well. We do Pauper about every 6 weeks or so when the world is not upside down. Oh, it's not a Yeti. I just checked the Gatherer real quick. This board state looking very dangerous for Ryan. And the whole team's turning sideways. Blister Pod gets stepped in front of. Oh, is that a Werebear? I think that's the reprint art from Werebear. I love it. I have won many, many tournaments. That's totally Werebear from EMA. I have played Werebear a ton in Miracle Grow back in the day. We used to use Queer and Dryad, Werebear. I have used Gush to return my only lands to hand, played Balance with no creatures in play, eliminating all of my opponent's lands and creatures, and then with the floating mana, cast Werebear. That is a play that I've made countless times in Vintage, if you can believe that. And this is very interesting. A couple of 4/4s here. Both of them stepping in front of Carrion Feeder. Oh, and Tragic Slip takes out one of them. That is brutal. So Carrion Feeder just squishes the other Werebear, and that is it. This game is essentially over with that Tragic Slip. I mean, it's difficult to imagine what could possibly salvage this situation. A couple of more lands destroyed. Ryan showing just what's up with his deck there as Turtle ends the game with no lands in play, but a commanding board presence. We are on to game number 2. All right, so we have sideboarded here. Players drawing their hands for game number 2. Turtle going to be on the play. I'm sorry, Ryan going to be on the play. Oh no, he actually chooses to be on the draw. Actually wants the extra card draw. A Lightning Bolt clears that Mortician's Beetle before it can become too much of a problem. That is actually a rare in Rise of the Eldrazi and has been downshifted all the way to common. And now a Carrion Feeder and another Beetle. And this is a really good opening for Aristocrats. If Turtle can have any type of creature to be munched on, this will just be brutal. Dead Gone takes out this Carrion Feeder. I think Turtle might have missed sacrificing the Carrion Feeder to get a counter. He did. You can actually sacrifice in response there, and Mortician Beetle would have got a +1/+1 counter. And perhaps he's distracted by the fact that he's only on black mana right now. One of those goes away with Crack the Earth. And now 2 mana. The worm that gets a land back from the graveyard. I think it has to get a basic land. Used to have been played, that combination was played in casual decks back in the day along with Rogue Elephant. You'd sacrifice your forest to Rogue Elephant and then you'd get it back later on. Missed the red-green border post. And now a Colony Garden comes into play tapped. Checking the Oracle text on Mortician Beetle, making sure that the land's being sacrificed. I think it's just when you sacrifice a creature. Yeah, can confirm it is only sacrificing creatures. That would be absolutely brutal if it was with lands. Of course, fetch lands would also add to that. if it wasn't just creatures. That would actually be a brutal foil to Ryan's deck. So Carrion Feeder now finally shows up. Oh, if this is a blister pod, it's going to be brutal. Okay, we've got a Rancor. He is a big boy. Turning sideways. Blocking. We're going to have some counters being distributed. And the trample's going to push on through. And both players are going to sacrifice a land. I forget the name of that goblin. It's like Aki something. When it dies, both players sacrifice a land, I believe. If it sacrifices a permanent, then Rancor is actually a pretty brutal card. Yeah, each player sacrifices a land. All right, so far, this all makes sense. Ryan, keeping me on my toes here with this deck building, and now a foil EMA Werebear. I think he's dwarfed by this Mortician Beetle, and Turtle has managed to keep a single green available, so he can trade this Mortician Beetle and then get the Rancor back. Ooh, Blister Pod's a big draw. That's like +2/+2 to the team. Now this Carrion Feeder can't block. It's literally written on it, cannot block. It's not like a strategical thing, just incapable. And Ryan jamming. Does he have some type of tricks? Blister Pod's going to be blocking on the Werebear. And then sacrifice to pump both guys. And we'll see if this Eldrazi can potentially be used for mana, perhaps getting something like a Brindlesholt out. If he doesn't sacrifice on the end step, expect it to be used on his turn for mana. Turtle's creatures can get much, much bigger than anything Ryan can put on the board. Mortician Beetle really doesn't have an upper end, upper limit, so to speak. Sacrifice Mortician Beetle, getting a +1/+1 counter. And I'm not sure if he actually caught the counter there. I don't think he did. Sacrificing 4 mana also would trigger Mortician Beetle. Now this would be a lethal crackback. Oh, and he makes a 3/3 here. I think there may have been a winning line available. It feels like keeping that Brindlesholt around, you can block and then sacrifice and then crack back for the win. Ryan unable to attack as that 3/3 would trade with these worms. I think they're 3/3 worms. Maybe 3/2. Turtle's line looks like it's going to be sufficient. Mortician Beetle's got that Rancor on it. He turns sideways with both. I believe both of these threats are actually lethal. I think both have to be blocked. Howl of the Hunger Pack, sacrificing the 3/3. Giving +3/+3 counters, and that is a spectacular finish to this game. So Howl of the Hunger Pack gives a permanent +3/+3. It gets 3+1/+1 counters, and it looks like the whole board is getting squished with a ton of damage coming in. Electrickery, good at killing the 1/1s, but just not early enough. You really have to get that down before Carrion Feeder and hit those Mortician Beetles before things start happening, because once this deck gets going, Black-Green Aristocrats can do some serious damage. That is all for this one, but don't worry, there is a lot more. You can check out our older videos, and we're always putting out new videos from ELD's Time Vault games in Bellingham, Massachusetts. If you want to help the channel, of course, you can like, subscribe, share, tap that notification bell so you can know the next time our new videos come out. Thanks for watching.